got
Girl.
to be kidding me.
Low key, that might have been me. There's a guy back there like eating popcorn, just watching you. Look at this mess.
It was fun though, but afterwards, next day the kids were like, "That was so much fun," and so it made me so happy.
Do love that part of the core memory is the airport.
I do too.
I'm with it.
So now I need to know where you went.
Well, we did a little staycation.
Okay.
This is Wiggins Pass. I'm not a big staycation person, Amy. I can't honestly tell Southwest Florida that I've staycationed before. But it was like, bam, this Perry Hotel popped up. This is a brand new hotel in Naples. And it's cute on the outside, but on the inside it's giving like luxury. So we were like, oh, let's go here. And let me just tell you, they have a charter from the hotel to the beach, Wiggins Pass. Girl, I took the best nap of my life on the beach. Right there. It was so nice. But there's like a rooftop up here. There's a pool at the top.
I see the umbrellas.
100%. So there's a pool up there, but there's this restaurant called the Tigress Restaurant. They've got like an award-winning chef up there. The food is fusion. I could cry about the food.
I almost might cry just looking at you because
it's like family style. So much. We're talking about bao. We're talking about like just this food that like it is an experience.
Okay, I will be going there.
You have to go. And let me tell you, if you're going to go to the Tigress Restaurant, the Perry Hotel, you got to make a reservation because people already know about this local secret that's not so secret anymore. They just got an award or recognition by Gulf Shore Life. And like, you have to make a reservation because everybody's going because the food is so good.
Okay.
So please, please, please make sure that you check it out.
I'm so checking this out.
And you saw my guy, Captain George, that guy that popped up in the hat. The
so
cutest
cute.
thing. You can get a private charter. They take you around on the way to the Wiggins Pass from the hotel.
I love this.
And so he knows all the things about the mangroves and the birds and everything like that. And we just love like someone who's just passionate about nature. So.
I love that. I do staycations sometimes because I just don't have the energy to go.
It was nice. It's down the street.
Yeah.
Why haven't I never done this before? Where do you go?
It just depends. Like sometimes we'll go to like a little hotel in Naples. Sometimes we'll just go to like even Estero.
Really?
Coconut
like
Point.
Coconut Point. Yeah.
The
highest.
South Seas.
Yes.
That's when we're feeling real extra. So love it so much. But I think honestly the thing is just getting somewhere where you can like shut your brain off.
That's all it was, Amy.
Right?
Like I had you on Do Not Disturb. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm not talking to nobody from Fox. Okay.
I'll remember that.
Just kidding. No, it was great though. Like it was great to just disconnect. You're right. And we do live in paradise. So, you know that AAA and even Ryan Kruger did a story recently on how because of the economy, a lot of people are considering staycationing this year, specifically people in Florida.
Yeah.
And so that was the other reason why I wanted to talk about this because we obviously live in such a beautiful place. You can find a place to disconnect right here and honestly save a lot of money. We love hopping the plane. We both do go into places, but sometimes the gems are actually turn out to be like right here in your backyard.
Yes, there's one place I've been meaning to go for years, and I swear I'm going to go there this summer with the kids. It's like some underground caves in Florida with water.
It's like Central Florida.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't quote me on the name because I'm not even saying it right now, but I want to go there. But yeah, between the theme parks, all the beautiful resorts we have, and the nature stuff,
it's all here.
Loving it all.
Yep.
Speaking of traveling, just heads up, reminder, Real ID goes into effect today. What is that? You might be asking. See that little gold star? This one right here? If you have that on your ID, you should be good to go. You have a Real ID. This is needed not only to get into through security at the airport to fly. P.S. By the way, we're talking domestic. This isn't like international.
Right.
But you also need it to get into federal buildings. If you don't have one, don't freak out. Passports work. There's other different like veterans and military ID. If you don't have any of the stuff they accept, you got to go through like extra screenings. The moral of the story is you're going to want to get a Real ID because it's just going to make life much easier for you.
Can you talk about the fact that you were at the airport earlier this week?
Yeah.
Or I guess last week. And the lines.
Oh, yeah.
It's like no joke
It
right
was
now.
long. Yeah. It was real long.
Hearing that same story.
And what we heard, we just so happened to fly Southwest.
Yeah.
But what we heard was staffing shortages,
construction, but
even like when we were up in DC flying back, staffing shortages on the airlines.
Wow. Okay.
And weather obviously plays a role too. So
got you.
Always give yourself extra time.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
There's been a lot of sad news lately with
Attacks.
natural animals. Not that animals would not be natural, but you know what I mean, attacking people.
Mm-hmm.
So first, I want to start with the gator attack because this one, man, this lady was out canoeing. Just broke my heart. I actually had to do a little research. Just to be clear, this is not the gator. She died. She was out canoeing in, I think it was called Tigress or Tiger Creek,
This is in Central Florida.
Central Florida. It goes right into Lake Kissimmee. And I pulled up some pictures because I was curious. I had never heard of this creek. And it really is just like a little creek.
Mhm.
So she, we live in Florida. You just never know. Alligators are everywhere. But she was canoeing along. There was another person canoeing in a separate vessel with, alongside her. Somehow she came across this gator and ended up in the water.
Mm.
And they were able to recover her, but she didn't survive. And it's just a reminder, like, we're in Florida. If you are near water, you are near gators.
Right.
Breaks my heart.
We see a lot of people like kayaking and canoeing and stuff like that, and you get to a point where you don't think twice about it,
Yeah.
But like you said, it's a reminder, and also those people who see a gator and they get close and take pictures.
Mm-mm.
Let's not.
No.
This is a reminder of that.
And I was reading, I don't know much about these kayaks. You're fine. You're allergic to cool people.
Probably.
Yeah. Hers had like, I don't know, like an enclosed thing she was sitting in.
Oh.
I've never seen one of those,
Sorry,
but that's
yeah.
what I was reading. So, just either way, heartbreaking for the family. The other heartbreaking story that happened here in Southwest Florida in Collier County, Jerome, Florida, is kind of like off 29 in the middle of just rural land, A bear attacked an 89.
I appreciate you saying that because I saw people on Facebook saying, why does the news keep talking about this? But this is historic for the state, right? And especially because it happened in our backyard. I saw a lot of people, and this is just a discussion, right? Like we can't give a lot of perspective on it, but it is, a lot of people were asking why were 3 bears, killed,
Right.
and, saying like, we should just kind of let it go and the DNA and all of that stuff is not necessary. But there are a lot of questions around the story.
Well, and I would imagine FWC probably has, not probably, they have their rules and their protocol, right? So if there were bears nearby in the area, I mean, a human and a dog are both dead. So
Yep.
that's probably part of their procedure. But the other thing is, if they don't have the bear that killed them yet, what if there's, I don't know if, like, okay, I'm making this up, rabies or something
Mhm.
that make it act a certain way or aggressive, or if there's something going on with that bear, they need to know. And I'm guessing that's probably what they're waiting to find out.
It is interesting the timing of the story too, because as we mentioned earlier this week, the bear hunts, right? The conversation around the bear hunts. If you don't know, the last time there was a bear hunt in the state of Florida that was authorized by the state of Florida was back in 2015.
Wow.
And now the conversation with FWC is, should we bring that back? That's like a summarized version of it. The conversation started happening in December. In April, they started asking the people in the state, like, what do you think about this? And now the conversation is back on the table ahead of a decision later on this month from FWC. But bear hunts are now, on the forefront of a lot of people's minds, people who didn't even know that was a conversation following this story. So that's another reason why we're trying to bring you the latest when it comes to that as well.
Yeah, so May 22nd is when FWC is going to vote on this, whether the bear hunt can go forward. I think they're going to allow for the killing of 187 bears. I know there are people who feel one way or another on both sides of the issue. So, if you want to weigh in, there are some protests happening around Southwest
Right.
Florida. Those are on our website. Or if you're for it, maybe call FWC and weigh in on that. But it's definitely something that we're going to keep focusing on
Yeah.
as we move forward. Can we just talk about your nails for a second?
Oh my God, stop. Actually, I wanted to mention that
Like a gold outline.
it is.
You're very bougie.
I'm not. Well,
my
I
hands are,
am.
my hands are clammy. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You have a nice nail color too. They're actually, your hands are very well moisturized.
I did put dry oil on, just to be clear. I'm not nervous sitting next to Shari.
I love that you actually brought this up because I'm not cool enough. I actually went in with a certain nail polish, and Neha, our producer, she's the one who put me onto this nail salon,
Yeah.
and the Gen Z nail girl was like, "That's ugly," and I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "Well, I have a backup option," and I showed her, and she was like, "That's basic," and I'm not sure which one hurt more, the ugly or the basic. So I was like, "Okay, girl, do you?" And she popped out with these, and I was like, "Wow, I'm giving like 2025." I felt like Neha in that moment, whose nails are always
I might
together.
copy those.
Thank you so much.
If you can't see, it's like a neutral color, and then it's got like a gold
Pops of
metallic
gold.
outline.
Low key didn't even know they could do that. So
They
shout out
caught my attention.
to my girl Ashley at VN Nails in Fort Myers.
Oh, VN Nails. I've been there. My girl, oh, geez, it's been
Dana,
so
Dana?
long. No. Hold on, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's been like 2 years since I've been there. It'll come to me in a second. But
Shout out to Amy's girl at VN Nails.
oh my gosh, so good.
Yeah, it's a good experience. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's hard to find your nail salon,
Yeah.
and the VN Nails they've captured my heart. It's a good vibe
Off
over there.
of Gladiolus.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
Now I go to Herbal Nail Bar off 6 Mile Cypress, but I've been to many places, Pink and Cape Coral.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
so many great places. Shout out to all the nail peeps.
100%.
So you were watching the Fort Myers City Council meeting?
Yeah,
They're doing
so
hurricane recovery funds.
right. So there is funding that the county obviously received, and this particular part of the story has to do with the city of Fort Myers. So yesterday they approved funding. It's about just over $1 million, and that money is interesting in the way that it's going to be dispersed because it's going to Goodwill Industries. I
Love
know
that.
you love Goodwill,
Mhm.
and Lark, and so they're going to be. This money is going to help them build headquarters here in Fort Myers. I think the Goodwill one is going to be off of Gateway.
It's
And
they're
Gateway?
building their brand new facility. No, it's not quite Gateway. I think it's just close to like MLK and Ortiz, right?
Okay.
I'll have to double check
I'll have to double check on where it is, but it's also going to function as a storm shelter as well. So
Oh,
I
nice.
thought that was interesting how that all tied in together. And so the city of Fort Myers actually, this is what I try to tell people. This is your time to pay attention to decisions that are being made, conversations that are being had. You should also always, if you get some downtime, just check out the agenda.
Yeah.
Today I saw a headline. I checked out the agenda for myself. There are approvals for extending like city limits, like kind of near that area you were just talking about, near unincorporated Lee County. There are just a number of decisions that I think are important for people to know because then they pop up and they're like, nobody told me.
Right.
And we can't tell you everything on the news, so just check out the agenda. But this was on the agenda, and I thought it was a huge win for Lark and also for Goodwill as well. And it's a lot of recovery money. The city is basically saying we want to revitalize, support these organizations while also helping people prepare for hurricane season, giving them another safe option in the event of a big storm.
So I thought I knew a lot about Goodwill because, we work with them so closely.
Yeah.
We do the Festival of the Trees, and you've been to the stores probably. But I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, I went and I toured their current headquarters. The amount of stuff they have their hands in and that they do, they've got the schooling there. They're teaching kids how to cook. I mean, it is amazing, all the stuff they do. They've got stuff that doesn't go, like, stay in the stores that they ship and they sell, like, large parcels
That's
of
right.
of textiles and stuff. So it's unbelievable all the stuff they do. So
They have adult programming too,
they have
right?
so much,
If you-
everything.
So if you need help with like your resume and stuff, they also just opened up. Remember, Victoria was live at a location. Wasn't that in Cape Coral?
Mhm.
So if you even need help with like getting your resume together, job training, they've got all of that going on at Goodwill.
Yeah, no, it's just to your point to kind of like tap in a little bit more when you think you know something, go a little deeper. In fact, I looked at the city agenda for Cape Coral, and they're talking about tonight, talking about adding a city-owned public golf course again.
Interesting.
See?
Yeah.
Don't say we didn't tell you.
No, that's right.
Now you know.
Period.
I want to talk about Harbor Grand. So this is something we've been covering for quite a while. Could you imagine hiking up like 7, 10 flights of stairs every single day up and down to get to your place?
Well, no. And then double that?
And then like carry groceries?
Yeah.
Or a child?
No. And look did you just see how high that complex is?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us why that's happening. Look at this.
So
hiking.
this is a luxury apartment complex, and we've been speaking with people. This was an issue before that was resolved, and now it's an issue again. The elevators aren't working. There is one working elevator, but you
Right.
can imagine how much that's getting used. And the concern is that it's malfunctioning a lot. People are using it too much, and that's going to break too. So one gentleman that we interviewed, he had to climb to the 25th floor on stairs. I mean, okay, fine, one time, great. But if you're doing that every
Every
day,
day.
that's kind of crazy. So Fort Myers Code Enforcement issued Harbor Grand a notice that they have to appear because they're like a repeat offender. They're going to be at this meeting on Thursday. So we're going to obviously follow that closely. But it's like, what gives? He was saying so many things fall under code violations that aren't working there. And they want answers. So we're pushing for answers. We're going to be at that meeting Thursday. But if you live there, we want to hear from you too. If you live at Harbor Grand and you're like, hi, I've been having to walk flights of stairs to get up and down, and this is definitely not the first time that this has happened.
That's what I was gonna say. We talked to this guy before. Remember last year, Miyoshi climbed the stairs with him,
Yes.
just like Steven did this time. And it got fixed, and now it's broken again. And it's just like, I feel a little triggered for the people that we serve because every time we run this story, people are messaging us on Facebook. They're sliding in my DMs, they're sliding in Miyoshi's DMs, and they're like, listen, I used to live at Harbor Grand or whichever one, and like now I had to move out because the amenities or the elevator wasn't working. This is a consistent problem for people, and you're messing with people's money at that time.
Right. And so the kind of like straw that broke the camel's back, if you will, the ownership company
Mhm.
like they're not answering
Right.
the phone.
That's the
not
trigger.
for us, not for the city.
Not for
So
these residents.
right. So we're trying to get a hold of them to find out what gives and what it's going to take to get this up and running again and to keep it up and running. So we're working on that.
Yep.
So if you're streaming us right now on YouTube or on fox4now.com and you're with the ownership company,
Hey,
hit us up.
we've been trying to call you.
Oh, wink and a nod there.
That's right.
You did something special yesterday.
I did, and I want to talk about it ahead of Mother's Day. This is video from the Level Her Up conference. It's the third
Aw.
annual Level Her Up conference. I said at the beginning of this full story that aired, I am not a conference person, so please don't look at
cute
me
is
like
she?
please don't look at me like I go to conferences and stuff. I don't.
No, she doesn't.
Okay, but I was emceeing this event as you just saw, and I have to tell you, it was powerful to be amongst so many women here in Southwest Florida who are killing it.
What's it about for people who don't know?
It is about encouraging women. That's
Okay.
the bottom line. So, like the panel that you just saw, those are 4 doctors from Lee Health. Gynecologist. They had, I think one was I think all of them were, I can't remember, but they were all doctors, and they're all talking about real stuff. So, for instance, cardiac health. If you have a heart condition before you become pregnant, while you're pregnant,
Mm.
what do you do? What steps can you take if you want to become pregnant to prevent heart conditions, right? Also talking about aging. We like to talk about Botox. And I don't mean like that, Amy. I just mean like
That was awkward.
No, I mean I feel like I've been talking about it with
Shari.
I mean, like I've been talking about it with everyone else. Like, should I not? Right? It's just a real thing. It's let's not even act like it's like not a normal conversation anymore. And so they were talking about aging, what to think about, what to do,
Yeah.
perimenopause,
Ugh.
perimenopause.
I'm starting to get the ads,
ads.
on social media. Like, do you have hot flashes?
Exactly. And
Do
you're
your
like,
hips hurt?
do actually, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it was just an open, honest conversation. And then some of these breakout sessions were amazing. Megan DePiro Photography.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was her right there talking about branding and marketing.
Mm.
Then you had another professor from FSW talking about AI, using it in your everyday life, but
Nice.
also making you think about the future of AI. It was just challenging, but also so encouraging to be amongst local women in our community. It didn't matter if you were a doctor or if you are an everyday person like us. You just sat there and just took in so much information. So shout out to the Greater Fort Myers Chamber of Commerce, and also Women in Business, and Lee Health was the presenting sponsor. It was an awesome event, and I'm not going to say it if I don't mean it. It was
No,
it was a
that's-
good event.
So level her up. That the name makes sense then because you're literally learning all these things that can take you to the next level.
Exactly.
Love
And also,
that.
the keynote speaker talks about balance. What is that?
Like as in balancing work and life.
balancing
Mm.
your kids, your husband, work,
Whew.
trying to be fine, trying to work out. It's a lot.
That
Okay.
nothing bunt cake kept popping up, and I
Oh,
thought
I,
that looked
I
good.
definitely took a video of that because shout out to them. I definitely made it a point to go to their line because they had the red velvet, and that speaks to my
Mm.
soul. Shout out to Nothing But Cakes. We
Yummy.
talk a lot about food on the podcast,
Listen, food is life.
but we're shouting out local businesses at the same
It's
time.
my
so I feel good
balance,
about
right?
that.
You
Yeah.
said balance, not
Yeah.
need to have some yummy food.
Do you feel like you have balance in your life? Yeah. See, that answers the question.
And that's saying something because technically I work part-time,
Mm-hmm.
even though I kind of feel like I work full-time.
Right.
I work part-time and I have my days and evenings free from work, but then like I'm momming and I'm doing the house and doing all the other stuff and the homework and the this and the that and the football game. So it's just like everyone's in that season where you feel like you're on a hamster wheel. It's finding those moments where you can decompress.
That's why something like that, what came to me was like, that's what matters. Is like, you put your phone on Do Not Disturb. You're like, this time is for me.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no like, is the baby okay? It's none of that. It's like, how do I become the best me in this moment to then serve the other people in my life?
Love that. Just make sure maybe somebody's watching the baby
True. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
or the puppy in
Or-
Shari's case.
That's right. He's always safe though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for streaming with us. This is Off Script. It's our podcast. We're here Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays starting at 10. And for the rest of the hour, you can check out all the news that's happening here in Southwest Florida. We hope you have a great